We fucked up.
If you are a fan of 4M1C and the Mad Sports Network and the Guard Pass, you might have just wondered where the hell we've been for the last 5 minutes. Yeah, we caught up, didn't we, boys? I mean, more me and you, Chris. Dale, you had fuck all to do with that, so you're off the hook.
Listen, I have a very close relationship with the guys over at Mad Sports Network. Shout out to Gav, Mac and Devo. I do a MMA podcast on the Mad Sports Network called The Guard Pass. Just basically a couple of cross lines, that's all. We've ended up putting 4M1C onto the Guard Pass and the Mad Sports Network. And the way this week's going, I'll end up putting the Guard Pass onto 4M1C next time, won't I? So we roll with it, boys. We roll with it.
They called the Avengers the most ambitious crossover. Just wait till you see the Guard Pass cross with 4M1C.
What the hell?
People know where we are now, though, anyway, because we just had IREP MK14 coming. Evening, fellows. Good evening to you, mate. How are you doing? You all right? Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us. I'll ask you once again, lads, how are we doing?
Oh, comedy gold in it, eh? But no, yeah.
We're rolling with it.
We're rolling with it. Hey, we're rolling now. We're up and running.
Brilliant.
I love it. Tell you what is comedy gold. I told you I'd fucking get another segue in. Jose Mourinho and Tottenham Hotspur.
Let's start again with this.
Where
Tottenham
did we start with this one?
Yeah, no. Well, we'll start where we started 10 minutes ago when we were leading streaming to the wrong channels. He's lost the touch, hasn't he? He's been the golden boy. Him and Pep Guardiola have probably been the best managers over the last 20 years, not named Sir Alex Ferguson, and he's just lost it. You can't even blame. I mean, can you blame it on the players? Really?
You can't blame it on the players because the players just aren't fucking good. That Spurs team is shit.
Yeah,
that Spurs team is awful. You look at their defense is awful. But then Jose doesn't help himself either. He doesn't help himself at all. So it's probably a combination of the two. It's fucking glorious to see. As a United fan, we were warned of this when he joined us.
Yeah.
We didn't listen. He got us to second and claimed it's the best thing he's ever done. And then he fell out with everyone and then left. He's done it at Chelsea twice. He's done it at Real Madrid, Inter Milan. He's going to do it at Spurs again. Not asked anymore. He's done.
Yeah.
As far as his managerial career in England, once he gets sacked from Spurs, is finished. Who on earth in England takes him anymore? Because the only ones that will take him are teams that he wouldn't go to.
It's a puzzle for Jose because he's a top-class manager who needs a top-class team and top-class players to get results.
As Chris I'm glad muted himself.
Yeah, I'm glad you spoke, Chris. You've gone completely, mate. Oh, we're having a great time. Evening, Carl. How are we, mate? How are we doing? Glad to have you in tonight. Honest to God, guys, if you're tuning into this, God help you, God bless you. We're having a great time. It's as live and as wrong as it can go, and I absolutely love it.
Here we go.
So as I was saying, Spurs. Good evening, Carl. Spurs just seem to be a couple of echelons below the elite teams, and that's where Jose needs to be managing. But he's not going to get one of those jobs again, like you just said, on the performances that he's been producing with Spurs. So it could be the end for Jose as we know it. The only job I could see him going on to from here is the one that's been linked with him for years, which is the Portuguese national side. I don't know where else he goes from Spurs. The only way he's going to save the season is if he wins Europa and he somehow manages to beat City in the League Cup.
Which ain't happening.
No. What's your thoughts on that, Dale?
Pretty much the same as you, mate. Well, both of you, to be honest. I think, when Harry Kane leaves in the summer as well, can't see Mourinho lasting much longer after that, or if he's not already gone before then.
No.
I think he's arguably got the signings he wanted in over the summer in various positions. They started off the season quite, very well, top of the league in November, whatever it was. Just inconsistencies. I think you pulled up a stat before, Danny, about them taking the lead and just not holding on to the lead at all.
Yeah.
Which is so unlike Jose and his teams of the past, where as soon as he went 1-0 up, you knew they were pretty much guaranteed not to lose the game. But I don't know if his management style is getting a bit outdated, maybe, or just the players as well that he's got. I'm just not interested anymore because he's had various bust-ups with Bale, to name one of them. It's probably a mixture of all them, to be honest. But I'll be surprised if he's still the manager at the start of next season, to be honest.
Seems to have lost the dressing room, doesn't he? Seems to have massively lost some of the dressing room.
The thing is, and there was, I can't remember who was talking about, I think it might have been Jamie Redknapp, and I said it the other week, Daniel Levy fought so hard to get Jose Mourinho. He's been trying to get him for years. So you feel like he's going to cut him more slack than any manager has ever had at Spurs. But if they lose Kane, we saw what happened the last time they got a load of money. Remember when they sold Bale and the amount of fucking dross that they bought?
The only good player they bought was Eriksen, and they bought like 6 players with the Bale money. The only decent one was Eriksen.
Yeah, exactly. I'll give Vertonghen some credit.
Did he buy Vertonghen with that money as well?
Pretty sure they did, yeah. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling it was around the same time.
If he did, fair enough. But
no, they brought dross. Like, I don't trust Spurs with money.
No.
They bought Reguilon. Fair enough, cracking signing. But it's a glorified loan deal. Real Madrid are 100% taking him back in a couple of years.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't bother with it. They bought Doherty in, who just looks like a shell of himself.
I mean, what's happened to him this season? He was absolutely outstanding at Wolves, in my opinion, and just for whatever reason this season, I think he started the season as the number 1 right back, but I don't know. Is he injured? Is he even in the fringes at the minute?
No. He's playing Serge Aurier, who he doesn't even trust. Over that. I mean, Serge Aurier is a car crash waiting to happen every single game.
You got bullied yesterday. Bullied.
Paul Pogba had him on toast as and when he felt like it.
Paul Pogba had everyone on toast yesterday. The guy was unbelievable.
That Paul Pogba, that version of Paul Pogba we saw yesterday is the Paul Pogba that can lead us to a title. If he can stay consistent like that, he is the catalyst for a title-winning team.
Yeah. Is he going to sign a new deal, though?
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb. Yeah, I think he will. Because I don't think Raiola sees him as his payday anymore. I think he's putting all of his fucking stock in Haaland.
Oh, Raiola is 100% on the fucking 10:30 express Haaland to fucking Real Madrid. Like that is 100% a fact.
Great comment there. Thought someone might be a bit more defensive of a certain Spanish striker got signed with the Bale money. Listen, Tim, you leave my Roberto alone, okay? that man is still a hero in my heart. He just didn't cut it in England, did he? Unfortunately.
Roberto Soldado, Granada reports.
Just quickly touching on United, because obviously we played Spurs yesterday, and this is where all this has come from. I don't know what you boys took from the performance, but I thought second half we were fucking outstanding. And all it's done is just really piss me off again that we can't do this for a full 90 minutes. Because if we play like that, 90 minutes against any team in the league, like we did against Man City, no one stops us. Absolutely no one stops us in this country. I'm
going to let Dale have a rant here because he always puts things much, much better than I do. But I'm going to fuel your fire here, Dale. 28 points United have earned this season, from losing positions.
It's a joke. I mean, why does it take us for some, like, a disallowed goal, or to concede an early goal, for us to Ollie to give them a kick up the arse, or the team to actually start waking up and actually playing some decent football? Because that's what happened yesterday. We got that goal disallowed, and it sort of just gave them a bit of a kick up the arse, really. Because after that, we were, as you said there, Danny, we were absolutely fantastic in the second half. Pogba was class. Henderson made some really good saves. Cavani,
what a striker!
Different grade. On his day, he's still up there. His movement off the ball is brilliant. I mean, the ball Luke Shaw gave to Bruno to Cavani for that set. Was it the third? Was brilliant. But yeah,
I thought Greenwood put in that cross for Cavani's second.
It was. So Bruno megged. Oh, who did he meg? He megged someone. He might have been Højbjerg. Højbjerg had a torrid time with him and Pogba yesterday as well. And then Greenwood just got it first time. But apparently there was a bit of a dialogue between Cavani and Greenwood first half, where Cavani was like, "You need just hit it first time into me." And so when Greenwood's got that stray ball, he's whacked it in with that beautiful left peg of his.
Oof.
And Cavani's thrown his head. We don't see enough diving headers, do we?
No. We don't see many in-swinging crosses, though.
No.
Like, if you think about it, we don't see many in-swinging crosses that go to the far post anymore. And it's such a dangerous ball when it's perfect like that.
Yeah.
I mean, when Greenwood plays like he did yesterday, fuck me, he's incredible.
Do we need a left winger or right winger when we've got Greenwood playing like that?
That's the issue, isn't it? That is the issue. I mean, eventually I see Greenwood going into the number 9 position. Like, I want Greenwood to be on the end of them crosses. So yes, in my opinion, but he's not been on it this season. But his last few games, he's getting there again. We're seeing the Greenwood that netted 17 times last season. I think after yesterday's performance, everything got better when Rashford came off. Like the way we play when he's on the pitch, don't get me wrong, he's our top scorer, and I don't want to say this because I don't believe it, but he's had a good season. He must have done. He scored 20 goals. But I genuinely believe he limits the way we play.
I just think he's knackered.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's why he limits the way we play.
I've said it for so long. He's knackered. He's obviously injured. He's carrying like 3 or 4 knocks, and he's just knackered. Yeah. I think he just needs a rest. Yeah,
I would be very happy if the team, minus Matic for Bruno yesterday, the team that finished the game yesterday is the team that we go with moving forward. Let Rashford have a break. We need him fit for the Euros. We need him fit for the start of next season. We need the best Rashford back. We've just lost Martial for the rest of the season. We don't need to lose Rashford. Like, we don't need to lose him. We might be losing Cavani anyway, which, it's going to be a shame if he goes, but I wouldn't mind him back for another season. We need to replace him.
I think he'll stay.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Like Ollie said yesterday, and I'd never considered this. He's not been able to see his family for a year because of COVID. And I never, ever considered that. When he said he was missing home, I was like, oh, yeah, he's just coming to the end of his career. I never even considered that he's living in a country that he's never been to before and can't have anyone over. Like, I never, ever considered that. I put myself back into when I was living in China and how difficult it was sometimes without your friends and family. And I was like, oh, fucking hell, like, fair play. I kind of get it now. So if that's where he wants to go, fair enough. I think he's earned his fucking right at this point in his career to do whatever he feels like.
I agree with you. But at the same time, you're banging goals in. So fuck what you want, stay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I fully respect him, but at the end of the day, we need you more than your family do. Because we're fucked without you.
Yeah. I mean, who's playing up front? I feel sorry for Martial.
Roberto Soldado.
No, don't. I feel sorry for Martial. He's had a horrendous season for, he had a slow start. Then he got sent off against Spurs, so that he got interrupted there. He's come back, had a couple of niggles there and here and there. Hasn't seemed to manage to shake them off. And then he's got back into the side. He's got a little bit of a run. He started to look like he's improving. He's had some great performances. people are stat whores just because Martial didn't score again. Martial's had some great games for us this season and not been on the score sheet. That's fine.
The City game, he was on best player on the pitch.
Oh, best player on the pitch by a mile. I don't mind that, but for one reason or another, he's just not had a good season. It seems to just be a culmination of things, and you have to ask the question: is he the guy to lead the line? And I don't think he is.
No, but could he be a part? I absolutely agree.
Yeah. I don't think he should. I don't think we should sell him. Like, everyone's just black and white, aren't they? With these things, they're just like, it's got to be one way or the other. We've got to get rid of him and get someone else in, or we could get someone else in, like a Harry Kane. But that's the big question now. When getting back to Spurs, to stop us speaking about United the whole podcast, this has got to be. This is the death knell for Spurs' Champions League. No, it's gone. Yeah. It's gone. Yeah. They're not going to get it now. So what does Harry Kane do? Because if they win nothing, he's got to go. But even if they win the Europa League and the Carling Cup, is that enough? Sorry, the Carabao Cup. Is that enough for him to stay?
They can't win the Europa League, mate. They're out.
I was just going to say they're out.
Oh, shit, yeah, they're out. Okay, well, I forgot all about you. You know what? I'm just done with that competition. I'm trying to block it out of my head. Like, as soon as we got drawn against Granada, I was just
you sound like me from last season. You sound like me from last season.
Because, right, I can deal with it if we're playing last season playing Sevilla. We're playing good sides and we got knocked out by a good side. But Granada, like, as soon as we got Granada, I was like, shout out again to Gav Mack. He's going to kill me for saying that because he seems to have an affinity with Granada. I don't care the shit.
No wank. When Kennedy is your best player, sorry, get relegated.
I was expecting a wrestling reference from you then when you said Kennedy.
I haven't got the energy for a Mr. Kennedy reference, mate. Seriously. I'll be brutally honest, I'm knackered, boys. Yeah, I think they're fucked to Champions League. And the reason why I think they are not getting Champions League, other than the fact that, the shit, is we've obviously secured second place now. I think that's done and dusted. I think City losing, us winning, that's just going to fire us just that little bit more to just chase. Listen, I'm not saying we're going to win the title. I'm not saying we're going to push them to the end, but we're going to push them further than we would have done. That's just a little bit of fire underneath. It's happened before. They won their first title when they were only 8 points behind with 6 games to go. Stranger things have happened. The reason they're not going to do it, though, is because of West Ham United. Because I'm throwing a brave call out here right now, boys. I think West Ham United are going to finish third this season.
You said before when we were discussing the topics for the podcast tonight, you put that in, and Dale, if I could try and copy Dale for a second, Dale went, "Oh!" So I'll let you take the floor here, Dale.
I'll be honest. I mean, we had this discussion the other week, didn't we? What we thought was going to be the top 4, or where we were predicting sort of Leicester may finish in the top 4. West Ham, I tell you what, Lingard, Moyes. I think I saw some earlier on that Moyes this season or this year, West Ham have actually taken more points in the Premier League than any other team in 2021.
Yeah,
he's doing an absolutely brilliant job there. And Lingard, I mean, what's it? 9 games, 8 goals, absolutely flying at the minute. I mean, he's obviously helped them to get into the position they're in as well at the minute. But good, I think I might be with you here, actually, Danny. I think I may have. I thought Leicester might just. I think they might just bottle it again like they did last season, and especially with the goings on at Leicester over the weekend with certain few players, and sort of the current run that they're kind of on at the minute. You kind of think West Ham might actually just pip them here into third. But if you're Leicester, I mean, you're looking below West Ham, and you got Chelsea just a couple points behind as well. It's and Liverpool just a couple more behind them as well. So it's getting very, very tight there, isn't it?
It's the run-ins for them. Though. Yeah. Like Chelsea got City next, haven't they?
Yes, I think
Liverpool have got a few tricky games, including us at Old Trafford. I mean, if you're going to play us, you want to play us at Old Trafford, but they've got us at Old Trafford. But West Ham, you said it on the last podcast, Dale. They're running tremendous on paper.
It is completely in West Ham's hands at this point.
Yeah,
and Leicester have gone from we've gone from speaking about United, City, and Leicester being the top three for months to I'm looking at this table now thinking that Leicester are going to do exactly like they did last year and finish fifth.
Yeah, that's the worry for them.
Yeah, I think they'll miss out on Champions League again because West Ham they're running like you said easy. That is a piece of piss running even without Antonio. They are absolutely flying. You know, they still need to secure a bit more at the back. You know, Leicester almost crawled themselves back into that game yesterday, but you know, so Leicester should the third in the table. Like you should be doing better, but they're 1 point behind now. West Ham, they're only 1 point behind Leicester. That gap was about 5 or 6 a few weeks ago. There's 7 games left. I think that third spot is now up for the grabs, and I genuinely think it might be West Ham that's going to take it. And what an achievement by David Moyes if he does that.
I mean, when they got absolutely pasted by Newcastle first game of the season, no one on this planet was calling this. No one.
No.
Tremendous.
It's unreal. Like hats off to him. Hats off to the players. You know they've made some fucking incredible signings this season. You know, Soufal is the one that never gets spoken about because it's all Souček and Lingard. Soufal's been the best right back in the league as far as I'm concerned. Unreal. I think Cresswell's come into a league of his own again. Declan Rice is finally showing the world how good he actually is.
Dawson.
I think Craig Dawson has been unreal.
Bowen. I know he came in last January, but what a step up to the Premier League he's made.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, he looked okay last season. Okay being the best word to describe him. But this year, he looks well up there. It's actually an insult to him that he's not being considered for England.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's had some sterling performances for West Ham this season. Some match-winning performances for West Ham this season. The question is, if West Ham... It's crazy to think because if they finish third, then they are going sizzler, like Champions League and all the money and the riches that come with that. But are they going to lose their players in the summer?
I don't think so. I think if you're West Ham and you get Champions League, you've got that nice shiny new stadium where fans are going to be allowed back in next season. In London, Dale, you made the really good point about Messi a few months ago. About London still being an attractive prospect. Don't get me wrong, don't take that out of context. I'm not saying West Ham are signing Messi.
I was going to say, where's this going here, mate?
But I think that London stadium, an exciting club, playing good football, I think they would have huge potential in the transfer market if Gordon Sullivan allow them to spend. Which I think they might do because they've never had that money before. They're very sustainable now. I think the stadium's, if they've been paying for it, it's got to be paid off by now, surely. Fans are going to be back, so they're going to have loads of money coming in. Why do you need to sell? You know, keep Declan Rice for another season, see what they can do. If then they fall down, they do what Wolves did, or they did what Burnley did when they got into Europa League and then fucking collapsed, then, right, you can sell Rice. You won't sign Lingard, whatever, but I would think that West Ham's an attractive prospect for players around Europe.
If I was West Ham and I got the Champions League money, I would be breaking the bank to buy Jesse Lingard.
Yeah.
Everything there just suits all parties. I think Jesse Lingard, a big part of why he's been so excellent at West Ham and what people are missing is he is the star man. He's a star man for what is a relatively big team.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets to be front and centre. And Jesse Lingard, the best football we've seen from him over his career is when he is getting love. Right? And he's getting love from West Ham. He's getting love from the fans, even though they can't be in the stadium. But imagine when they can be. You know, he's going to be producing even better performances. He's getting love from the manager. He's getting love from the club. He's getting love from his teammates. He's getting love from us, United fans and stuff. We're all heaping it onto him because everyone's just so happy for him because he's not a bad guy. He's just unfortunately got to a point where he was surplus to requirements. And we don't need him. It sounds awful to say that, but United don't need him. And Jesse Lingard's too big a personality and a player. He's too talented to be sat in our reserves. And you've seen that now. And this is the perfect chance for him to, have a really strong ending to his career. Like, he's getting into the prime of his career now. He could go down as a West Ham legend. He just needs to make the right choice for me this summer. I heard rumours about Spurs and stuff before. Like, would you not go to a bigger team like Spurs? What, I'm playing no European football next season?
That's it. West Ham, I think, regardless, are playing European football next season.
Yeah.
Whether it's Europa League or Champions League, West Ham have pretty much secured themselves European football next season. Which, imagine saying that last season. No way. They were awful.
Mate, back in August or September, whenever the bleeding season started, I can't even remember anymore. Fucking Dean Garner got sold. Mark Noble's kicking off with the club on Twitter. David Gold's ringing TalkSport every 5 minutes trying to plead his case to the West Ham fans. And Steve Bruce and Newcastle come to town and play Bruce ball, batter him 3-0. And you're just thinking, West Ham are getting relegated.
Yeah.
So what David Moyes has done, to think they binned him off. They were like, thank you for your service, David. It's all right, mate. Got someone else in. Pellegrini, was it, that they binned him off for?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Gave Pellegrini millions to sign not utter shite, that's not fair to the players that he signed, but, the lad he bought from Germany and sold to Ajax, what's his name?
Allaire.
It just didn't work. Like, I just to think that David Moyes didn't get his chance initially, where could they be now if they just kept the faith in him?
It makes me think about when he was at United as well, like, if we'd have brought him in as the second manager after Fergie. He was never suited for that first job. No way. We needed Jose to come in then to settle the ship and then let Moyes come in. Similar to what Ollie's doing now.
Yeah.
Because he was on a high when he was at Everton. He was unreal. And I'd argue that he's taken a step up now. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah. West Ham's a huge club.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they're bigger than Everton, but because historically they're probably on par. But it's just nice to see him get his opportunity and stuff, because he struggled after United. He took a couple of jobs and you thought since the end of his career, but he's gone back to the drawing board. He's got his chance. He's managed to get his foot in the door again at West Ham. I'm buzzing for him. I like David Moyes. And I never disliked him when he was at United. He was just out of his depth.
Yeah. The board didn't back him, I think, which was the biggest problem. Like, he didn't help himself because he signed Fellaini instead of Thiago because he didn't know nothing about him. But, with what we've seen about Thiago this season, maybe signing Fellaini was the right idea.
We could have got Fabregas as well, but, Fellaini.
Yeah, Fabregas is the one that really upsets me because Fabregas was fucking balling.
Yeah.
Fair play, West Ham. I think you're going to finish third, and I hope you do. I really do.
I do.
You bring up that team that beat West Ham 3-0 at the start of the season, who have completely and utterly struggled since then. And Gucci Mane St. Maximin.
Mate, do you just want a job like segueing for people? They're outstanding. You are on top form today. I hear the word "speaking of," and I'm like, here we go.
Here we go. It's leading on to something. He was unreal against Burnley. And the biggest problem with St. Maximin, and we've all said it, is his end product and just how inconsistent he is. And he showed on, I think it was either Saturday or Sunday, how good he is when he can be consistent. That cross for the first goal was brilliant. That run and finish for the second goal was outstanding. The way he sent about 3 Burnley defenders with that chop and then to weak foot finish it into the near post as well. Baller. Absolute baller. And you know what? Well done, Newcastle, because I think that win has probably saved your skin.
So, I think that's a good result for them.
I think it has. That was a massive result.
I know we're saying bits and pieces in the group and stuff, and obviously Lee's got a bigger affinity for Newcastle just because of his dad being a Geordie and everything, but none of us have been really high, and we've had different relationships in terms of Newcastle. Because as far as I'm concerned, I just don't think, apart from a couple of players, I just don't think their squad is that good. And I don't get where these expectations come from some of the Geordies sometimes. Like, do I think Steve Bruce is a world class manager? No, I don't. Like, do I think he's the best man for the job there? Probably not. No, but do I think the fans are a little bit too critical of him? Yeah, I don't think it's all his fault. I think that club is a bleeding poison chalice, especially with the board that Mike Ashley in charge. I think it's just cursed. And the players are just not good enough. But Saint Maximin is different gravy. You said the words before, Dale, different gravy. And I think, I don't know what you think, mate, but I think that's the result that keeps them in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that might have just swung it in Newcastle's favour there for the end of season running. I thought with the Fulham defeat as well. I think Fulham have played a game more than Newcastle as well at the minute. But that was a huge result. Huge result. But yeah, I think that's them just saved now. Which, like you say, for a club of sort of Newcastle sort of stature, I mean, fighting out sort of relegation battles is not what they, a club like that should be doing. But like you said, I mean, is Steve Bruce the right man? He probably isn't, but he's. When did Newcastle start sort of looking sort of a bit higher up in the league? Trying to sort of maybe try and break into the top half again. Start trying to build into try and get into Europe again. I mean, the last 3 or 4 seasons they've come sort of 13th a couple of times and 10th. They're kind of just like a Crystal Palace in a way, in my eyes, where they're kind of just happy where they are, and they're not really sort of trying to push to get to that sort of next level again. Whereas you say you take a team, say like West Ham, who have been sort of down there many a time over the seasons, and then all of a sudden they've got a couple of the right signings in. They've clearly got the right manager in again, and look what's happened. They're challenging for the European spot. So when does that sort of turn for Newcastle sort of going forward? Does that lie in the hands of Mike Ashley changing personnel? Does he go? Does a new manager come in as well as a new sort of owner, chairman, etc.?
I think they're at the time when Rafa Benitez was there.
Oh yeah, and that probably was the right manager at the time, but
it was right manager, wrong time because of the wrong ownership. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I mean, if you put Rafa Benitez in charge of Newcastle when Ashley's gone, and they've got a bit of cash, and they've just not got this fucking poison above them, because that's what he is. Let's be honest, he's an absolute prick, and I can say this now because he made a lot of my friends redundant, and he couldn't buy out and save people's jobs. Mike Ashley, you are a cunt, mate. Like, just fuck off. Go to your yacht in Monaco and never step foot in England again. And I think everyone on this planet would be happy with that, apart from people who live in Monaco. So get fucked, mate. I'm not arsed. You're a prick.
He's a twat you love to hate, isn't he? He's a twat that goes to a car boot sale on a Saturday, buys a stopwatch for £5, and it ends up being worth $4 million.
Yeah,
I've just told that right from Only Fools and Horses, that storyline.
he is a fantastic businessman, but unfortunately, to be a fantastic businessman, you've also got to be a twat. So
yeah,
that's just the way business works. Rafa was the man for the job. If they got new owners in, and he was offered the job again, and Rafa was to take it, I think then that is the time where they start climbing up. But I'm with you. I see them as a mid-table team now. I don't think we'll see them challenge for anything for a long, long time. Expectations are there because of the history and the size of the stadium. Yeah, well, look at Nottingham Forest. Things could be a hell of a lot worse. You could be like your neighbour Sunderland. They're struggling down in League One. You're in the Premier League. There's a lot to say for your football club still being in the Premier League, which you've got to appreciate where not a lot of other teams are. You know, there's only 20 teams in the whole of the country that can be in that top division, and 3 of them leave every single year.
Yeah.
You stay up there. You know, things aren't as bad as you think, Newcastle.
It could be worse for Nottingham Forest. He could still have Mark fucking Goldbridge going to support them, but he decides to fucking pretend to support us now. They're a big club. They're a sleeping giant, aren't they? But it's just not happened for them. And ever since they went down to the Championship originally, which was a shock because to everyone at the time, we were all watching it happen. And the players that they had in the squad, you know, the likes of Michael Owen and Damien Duff and you're looking at the performances and you're thinking, it can't happen. Newcastle United can't get relegated. But it happened. And it just goes to show it doesn't matter how big your club is. Leeds, you know, I hate Leeds as a United supporter. I may hate us, fair enough, like the rivalry's always been there. But they're still a huge club. Yeah. And they belong in the Premier League. They're a Premier League club. Aston Villa, huge club. Say,
Villa, Blackburn.
Yeah, they're big clubs.
As far as I'm concerned, if you've won the Premier League, you are a big club.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest have won 2 European Cups. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, history does not matter for anyone.
No,
it's just with Newcastle. It's a case of they had a really strong start to, you know, the noughties when they had was it Shepherd, Freddie Shepherd, who was the chairman before Mike Ashley. Sure, it was.
Sounds right.
And they had Bobby Robson in charge, and he had great players at that football club, like unbelievable players. And it's just gone downhill from there ever since Ashley took over. And you've seen the story so many times, and it could be worse. There's clubs that have gone out of existence now. Look at Bury. I know they're not the size of Newcastle, but it's just a story of these failed sort of like takeovers and these owners that pretend to care about the club, but they don't actually care about the club. There's very few out there, like the Leicester City owners, for example, where they actually invest in the club. Right? For every one of them, you get 9 more Mike Ashleys just managing everyone else. So what are you going to do?
Which is, which is mental because on the pitch, success translates to profits. Mm-hmm. And this is what I've never understood with Man United. And even Liverpool, probably another good example, who just don't like spending money. You know, Liverpool's most profitable years must have been in the last couple of years with winning the Champions League and then winning the Premier League. Surely then you would give Klopp all of the fucking money and be like, right, go and do it another 3 times. Like, surely, I mean, I won't talk about El Clasico in a bit, just like a quick word on it. And they were looking at the average age of the Real Madrid team. You know, Casemiro, Kroos and Modric have been in that midfield for about 10 years now. It was a midfield that was bought to last, and it brought them so much success and therefore brought them so much money. It's smart investment. It's simple economics. You've got to spend to make money. It's just strange.
They just don't seem to get it. It's always instant gratification rather than delayed. And, you know, thank God that the boards beforehand at United weren't that way inclined, because if they were, Fergie would have been binned off before he had any sort of sustained success whatsoever. He was on the brink. He was on the brink in the early 90s. He really was. He managed to, you know, win the cup, and then we just sort of like springboarded from there. But it's a process, and clubs just don't want to do it. And thankfully, some people are Ollie in and some people are Ollie out to get back to United. But this is what we know, so we'll talk about it. But thankfully, the board have been patient with Ollie because, you know, he might not win us trophies, and the jury's out on whether he's good enough still. Like, there's a lot of different opinions. But I'll tell you what he has done. He steadied the ship. And if he does go and he doesn't manage to get us over the hurdle of winning a trophy and bringing us success, then he's left the club in a fantastic state compared to where it was when Jose left. Yeah. So you've got to be thankful for that, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Another team that, like, has proven that this model works is Man City. You know, they've spent millions and millions, and it's brought them so much success. You know, they've won the league countless times. They've won the Carabao Cup about 74 years in a row. But what they couldn't do is beat Leeds United. It's not for everyone, is it, boys?
I'm leaving. A segue doesn't get better than that. The best thing about that segue was the fact that you lured me in. I didn't even know it was coming.
I tell you what, we laugh and we joke about Breath of Fresh Air FC, but that is a unbelievable result. They've taken 4 points from Man City this season. For a team that's just come up, they're sat in for 10th or 11th, very comfortable. Bielsa's about to get a new contract. I think full credit is deserved. As much as it's paying me to say because I fucking hate Leeds United, but they are the team that I love watching this season. You are guaranteed entertainment whenever Leeds United are on TV. And I'm going to say it, they're genuinely it is a breath of fresh air. Yeah. I have fallen out of love a lot with football this season, with VAR, with the refereeing, with a lot of things that have just made it painful to watch. It's not the game that we knew a couple of years ago. No. But when you put Leeds United on, you are going to see an attacking masterclass and a defensive disaster class. And I am all for that. I think it's fucking brilliant.
Well, they kind of only know one way to play, don't they? Really, yeah. They can get beat 6-1 one week, still play exactly the same the next week, and win 5-0.
Yeah,
it's how sort of up and down their season's kind of been. Anyway, they've had some cracking results against the big teams, but then also not so great results against sort of the teams sort of below them. Yeah. But like I say, one thing you'll get week in, week out with Leeds is they'll play exactly the same, no matter who they're coming up against. Bielsa will get them to, play this sort of attacking, dynamic, sort of offensive football. Very sort of counter-attacking, sort of possessive, sort of. It's worked for them. They're sitting there in 10th now. They're on the same points as Arsenal, 3 behind Everton as it stands. They're
crazy.
They've fair play to them. They've done brilliantly. And it would just be interesting how sort of next season sort of pans out. Will sort of more teams sort of clock on maybe to what they have been doing? Maybe set up a bit more differently to them. As you've seen with Sheffield United sort of this season, they played a different sort of style of football than the norm last season. I don't know, they kind of maybe been sussed out as, that's part of the reason, but they've had injuries and this, that and the other as well. But, if they can sort of repeat this next season as well, get a couple more signings in, who knows, they could push higher up the league as well. But yeah, fair play to them this season. They've been brilliant. I don't think anyone can knock them for what they've done this season. They have been a really good team to watch.
And do you know what? I'm going to set the microphone out for this one.
Here we go.
Danny, I owe you an apology. It's now mathematically impossible for Sheffield United to catch Leeds United in the Premier League table. So, 2 things. I'm forced to concede in our bet. And the second thing is, it was a £20 bet. I'll give you cash out now for £11.
No.
I'm going to send it to you in buckets of pennies, you twat.
And the daft thing is, I took that bet under the assumption that it would be Sheffield United that were awful. I didn't think Leeds would be as good as they have been. Like you said, Dale, they've had some real slip-ups against the lower teams. If they'd have just corrected them, fucking hell, where would they be? Would they be pushing for these Europa League places? Like if they fine-tune that, you don't know what this team could do. I think they're short of a couple of good defenders now. I really, really like Luke Ayling. I think Luke Ayling is an outstanding defender. Again, another English right-back that's just probably not going to get a chance because we've got that many. Unfortunately, he is the only defender they've got, though. I don't rate Alioski. I don't rate what he's doing either. I really don't rate what he's doing moving to... is it Galatasaray or Fenerbahce, whichever one he's going to, the one that Leeds have got massive history with. I don't like that. That's a club that Leeds absolutely despise. Their fans... their fans murdered 2 of your fans on a European night. You've been there during the anniversaries. You know what that tradition and that rivalry means. That you even had fans on TalkSport saying that they'd rather him join United. Like, that's how bad the rivalry is between Leeds and Galatasaray. So I don't rate him as a footballer anyway. Struick and Llorente look okay, but they're not going to do you any good.
I tell you what, Dallas. Oh. He can play right back, centre mid, right wing. He's been all over the pitch this season.
Yeah,
and he has put brilliant. A shift in every time as well. He's been absolutely outstanding for them. Yeah. Bielsa will tell you're playing left back this week. He'll go and do a job. You're playing centre mid the following week. He'll go and do a job. He's been fantastic for them.
Yeah. He's been really fucking good.
I think if they can keep him, Jack Harrison, I don't know if he's good enough to go back to City, so I reckon probably stay at Leeds for another season. I think that's probably a good thing for him.
They'll give him another year.
I think they need to give him another year, and then City can make the decision then, can't they, whether they bring him back.
Yeah.
Rafinha, who's been unreal, if they can keep hold of him, that's a great signing. Rodrigo is another year in the league. He might come good. Bamford has exceeded everyone's expectations.
Couldn't hit a band over fucking Banjo, and I put him in the fantasy team now, could he? That twat.
Well, that's because he couldn't do it for about 5 years, mate.
He just goes on runs. He'll go on a run of like 5-6 games, and then you'll be like, right, I'm putting him in. He's in form. And then he'll just go 10 games without a goal. You're like,
I've had him in since day one.
Of course you have. Great. Of course you have. The question I want to ask about City, though, is that's a weird result for City. They've been, barring us in a couple of games, they've been unstoppable all season.
It's a weird result for City when they don't win a game.
Yeah. Against 10 men, though. Against 10 men. And they lost. I don't know whether they've got one eye on Dortmund coming up, which they should, because they weren't great against Dortmund in the first game. I think they were very lucky. Again, another stupid VAR and referee mistake.
Oh, mate.
Which, that was painful. I think they were very lucky against Dortmund, and there's a very good chance that Dortmund could nick a 1-0 win and not send City out. Like we said this a couple of weeks ago, I think there's a chance that Porto could win against Chelsea. I think Porto were very unlucky against Chelsea. This Champions League this week is going to be outstanding, so I'm excited for that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I just think they had one eye on Europe, not concentrating. Just, when one hand's already on the title, like us a few years ago, you just take your foot off the gas, don't you?
Yeah. 100%. And Porto are going to have a tougher job against Chelsea, I think, because I just think Chelsea got the quality to beat Porto, and that's that. Especially, you know what? I give Mason Mount stick for not being as good as some of the other options that England have got in that position. But that was a belting goal against Porto. Yeah. It really was a belting goal against Porto.
I think he's been great. I think he's been really, really good this season, especially coming when Tuchel's come in.
Yeah, he's had a good season. I still don't think he's as good as some of the other players that England have got in that position, but that's by the by. He had a great game against Porto. You can't take that away from him, and he is having a great season for Chelsea. He's their best player by a mile. I could see City cocking it up against Dortmund, but I do think the Leeds result was them just being a bit complacent. The league's in the bag. Even if they've got a couple of tricky games left, even if they were to theoretically lose against Chelsea, so they're too far ahead. And there's no way United are going to win every single game from now to the end of the season. We're just not going to do it. We're not going to do it. You know for a fact Liverpool are going to beat us at Old Trafford, and I'm not going to come on this podcast for a month. So it's gone for him. And I think that's the reason why they've kind of taken the foot off the gas a bit. The last couple of Premier League games, as scary as that is, as good as they've been, I do feel like they've taken the intensity down a little bit. It is all about the other competitions now. I could see them losing against Spurs in the Carabao. I honestly could, in a one-off game, because I just don't think it's a massive priority for them.
Nah, I think they'll win it. I think De Bruyne will be back, and that's the biggest problem for City at the moment is when they don't have De Bruyne in the starting 11, they're poor. For all the stick that we get for Bruno being our one-man team, you take De Bruyne out of that City team, and they're just not there at the moment. Even
though they have been earlier in the season, when Gundogan, He's been unreal. For City have had so many good players this season. Foden, how good was Foden against Dortmund?
He's still their top scorer.
Mate, Foden ran the show against Dortmund. Ran the show. The guy's, how old is he? 20?
Yeah.
Piss off, man. Why has he got to play for City?
and he was almost outshone by 17-year-old Jude Bellingham.
Oh, man,
He was
Jude
also
Bellingham.
outstanding in that game.
Jude Bellingham's unreal as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting in it. But Leeds, I have to concede, they've been decent this season. Breath of fresh air and all this shit has to stop, though. Every time they win a game, it just seems to be like a national holiday. It's about to
What do you mean?
break out.
Whenever they fucking lose a game, there's still a breath of fresh air.
Oh, mate, honestly. If Leeds beat us, when we play them again this season, right, I would fully expect the Queen to come out and declare a national bank holiday. Okay,
And on that note,
you know what? Under 18s, yeah, we're furloughing you. No, it's just not something you do.
No.
Just not that week. Here we go. Oh, dickhead of the week.
Dickhead of the week.
The best segment in all of podcasting.
Yeah. So you all, we win.
This week's winner is 4 Manx 1 Toffee for streaming on another channel entirely and another podcast. Shout out again to Mad Sports Network. Go and subscribe to them on their YouTube. Catch me on Thursday nights on the Guard Pass, but you don't catch 4M1T on there because we're not supposed to be there. Love those guys.
Dear me.
I tell you who is dickhead of the week for me, though. Leicester City players who broke COVID regulations. We are so far into this pandemic now, right? And we are so close, like so close to everything being back to normal. And we're so close to the end of the season, a season in which Leicester are surpassing all expectations. Crunch game against West Ham, and you go and break COVID regulations, and it's just so preventable, and it just reeks of we're footballers and we can do whatever the fuck we want. Well, no, you can't. And now you've missed the game against West Ham, and now you've cost your team the result against West Ham because Leicester came on strong at the end of the game, grabbed a couple of late goals through Ihi Iheanacho, who is unbelievable at the moment, by the way. Who would have thought that he'd be as good as he's been this season? And with those players that they were missing, Maddison, Chowdhury, not Wes Morgan, because even if he is fit and available, he's not playing. Who else was done for it?
It was Iose, wasn't it?
Iose, Perez, yeah. They're difference-making players. You could have won the game. And you might have just cost your team third. And there's no guarantee, because Leicester can't even beat Sparta Prague in the Europa, so there's no guarantee that you're going to get through the Champions League qualifying rounds if you do make it. So, Leicester City knobhead players, you are my dickheads of the week.
Yeah, I think the one surprising name there, I think if what I'm reading is correct, is Wes Morgan, who is the club captain.
Surprising that, isn't it?
I'm looking at the others. Maddison is, he's quite young. Harvey Barnes, quite young. Chowdhury, I think he's quite young as well. And then Wes Morgan, who's a solid professional. He's been in the game, a long time. He's a club captain. That was When I read about that, well, I'm reading it again now. That name did surprise me. I thought he would be the one sort of telling him, "Don't bother, what you're doing."
Yeah.
we got a game against, arguably, a Champions League sort of rival coming, fighting for the third, fourth place coming up, and that was a surprising name for me, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Absolutely
agree.
Awful. Go on, lads, hit me with it.
I mean, I was thinking about Leicester, but I knew one of you two would bring it up, so I've not got that. A few general ones, racists.
Yeah, every week.
You can take bets now on whatever team loses on what player is going to get racially abused after the game.
No, you can't.
No, I mean like not you can't, but like you can guarantee.
Oh right, I genuinely thought there was bookmakers. I was going to say Jesus Christ, no, you can't.
No, but if you could, it would be with Paddy Power. Anyway, other betting companies that are available. Yeah, you just know that players are going to get it. You know, Heung-min Son got it. Raheem Sterling got it. Daniel Levy's had anti-Semitic, against him. It's getting ridiculous now. Like any player that is not white or British is getting it, and it's not on. Like it needs to stop. Another thing that needs to stop is the offside rule, or its current format of the offside rule. Because there were two, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Liverpool were absolutely pissing robbed on weekend because that is not offside.
No.
It's just not absolutely not offside. Nor was the one in the Fulham game either.
Did you not see tonight?
Have you not seen tonight? Yeah.
No, I've not.
Mate.
Oh, damn it.
Fucking hell. Dean Garner gets a goal chalked off, yeah? Do you know why he was offside?
Here we go.
He wasn't. They put the line against someone else. They didn't even use the line against Dean Garner. They used the line against someone else who wasn't even involved in play.
Make it stop.
It hurts. It hurts my brain. It hurts my soul. It hurts my feelings. It hurts my brain.
It's ridiculous. Like the next one was VAR, because how Scott McTominay cannot fend off Heung-min Son, yet someone can kick another player in the head in the area in the Burnley game. What are we doing? Game has gone. The game is absolutely gone.
I'll tell you what, if Son was my kid, you won't be eating tonight.
Here is my first proper nomination. The Korean press, because they have publicised that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was racist in his press conference against Heung-min Son.
Well, he wasn't.
No. Translate your shit better, lads. But my real one is Lionel Messi, who, you boys might not be aware of this, was an absolute petulant cunt during the El Clasico over the weekend. And I mean moaning to the referee at every substitution, giving out to all the players. Even, because it was raining, he asked for a spare shirt and undershirt for the final 10 minutes of the game because his shirt was wet.
Hey?
Yeah. To the point where the referee, near the end of the game, asked Lionel Messi, "Do you know the rules to football? Because if not, I'll tell you them after the full-time whistle."
Oh, sassy. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Listen, Lionel, it's your last Clasico. You've now not scored in 7. Your Barca career is done and you're going to win no trophies. Get over it, mate. You're my dickhead of the week, Lionel Messi.
Yeah, I think I read something like that. Was it since Ronaldo's left Madrid?
He hasn't
scored. Not scored or assisted in one of those games.
It's not asked, is it?
All of the hype was talking about how Benzema's not scored in 9, and he absolutely fucking bossed it on weekend.
I saw Benzema's goal. Cheeky.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, great goal.
I'm a big fan of that. I'm also a big fan of the fact that, no, I didn't watch El Clasico, because I never do, because I just think it's a shit game. And it's overhyped, especially compared to other La Liga games that I've seen over the years. But I heard that the game was very much a smash and grab on Real Madrid's part.
First half, Real Madrid absolutely dominated it. Second half, Barcelona absolutely dominated it. It was literally a definition of a game in 2 halves. It was a fantastic watch, but the constant moaning, diving, crying by the Barcelona players, it has to stop. And Lionel Messi is unfortunately at the forefront. I think even Luka Modric tweeted Gerard Piqué after the game. Piqué wasn't even playing, and Modric tweeted, "It's like, this is your time to complain now, isn't it?"
Brilliant. I've read something about that as well. I just think Messi's got to the point where he's just like, I can do what I want. So I think he just thinks of things that he can say, like, listen, my shirt's wet.
Yeah, honestly, changing your shirt, but also changing your undershirt with 10 minutes to go just because you're a bit wet. I don't think he touched the ball in them last 10 minutes. Yeah,
listen,
what
lads.
use is that?
Listen, lads. Rain. Have we not got a roof? We've not got a roof on this stadium. What's fucking going on, eh?
Oh no, sorry. One final nomination. Jurgen Klopp We couldn't play
it's
well
awesome.
in Champions League because we were playing in a training ground.
Oh, God.
He'll do anything.
Do you know? I'm
Fuck off.
I'm just gonna do what we saw Mike Phelan do yesterday after the VAR decision.
Go on, Dale. Round us
my
off.
Lord, Jesus!
Round us off, mate.
I'm gonna go straight into the win or the dickheads of the week because I know Chris has been, he's been getting a bit upset, because he's not been, he's not had a win, has he? But this week, yeah, I'm in agreement with yourself, Chris, with the Leicester players.
Yes, get the fuck in.
Breaking the breaching COVID rules. I personally, it just feels to me like the footballers he seems to think that they're above sort of everyone else. When they do stuff like that, it's kind of ridiculous. And I mean, if it happened maybe sort of next week when sort of restrictions had eased a little bit more, and sort of it was maybe sort of outside, I don't think it would be sort of blown up maybe as much. But just to do that anyway, and especially a sort of before a big game like that against West Ham as well.
Yeah, crunch game.
Yeah, it's not on, but
no.
Yeah,
crunch game.
Those players are sort of my dickheads.
And this is a daft thing because I think I said it earlier. They've made Southgate's job so much easier. Maddison and Grealish have literally acted themselves out of the England squad. Both of them breaking COVID rules. They don't deserve to go. They don't. He's made his job so much easier. Do I have to pick 3 or 4 of them? Oh well, these 2 have been knobs. That's fine. I'll just take Mount, Foden, and Lingard. Done. Because you can't trust them. You can't trust players like that.
Just avoidable.
Like I said, wait a week.
It's really avoidable.
Wait a couple of days. Bear Gardens are open today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bear Gardens are literally open right now. You could have waited. It would have been fine.
Honestly, it just beggars. But the way some people have been during this whole pandemic, just like beggars belief, and especially with footballers, you don't see it across any other sport. You don't see rugby players just getting done all the time for going out breaking COVID regulations. You don't see tennis play. I know there's been a couple of notable exceptions and stuff. Novak Djokovic was one at one point. But this sport is just full of people.
Yeah,
it was just
he's an anti-vaxxer though, so
mate,
fuck him.
He looks like my microphone, so fuck him. But we're just full of sport. We're a sport that's just full of people. Oh, brilliant! For a second, I actually thought you had a picture of him. I was like, it's just full of people who've just got so much ego and arrogance and just think they're better than they are. It's like the way they speak to the referees and stuff. I just can't stand it. No. Can I just say though, special nomination? Even though they've not won this week, I'm happy with my win, Dale. Thank you very much for that. Special nomination for the referee in the Dortmund City game. What are you doing? What are you doing? Bellingham's goal was perfectly fine. How are you going to penalise a guy who got his foot kicked? It's just ridiculous, mate.
Literally, the whole point of VAR is to review things. Let him score, let them review it, and then make the right decision. It's so simple. It's so simple.
He didn't need to blow his whistle either. It's like, here's the line, here's the ball. The ball's creeping, it's creeping. It could go to VAR. Oh, blow your whistle.
But again, that rule needs to change as well.
Yeah, 100%.
That rule needs to change. I don't care if the whistle's blown. If that ball is travelling in the net uninterrupted, it's a goal. Just let it happen.
Dickheads.
And on that note, boys, we are done. Strong show. Thank you very much for joining us once again, everybody. If you are on live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, we are 4M1T. If you are listening on the Spotify feed, thank you very much for listening. Please give us a follow, share to your mates, get us out there. We do all right for a lot of pods, but we could do a hell of a lot better. So spread the word out if you can. Would be very much appreciated. Anyone have any final parting words?
Yeah, if you want to watch the first 5 minutes of the podcast, go over to Mad Sports Network, their YouTube. They might still have it up.
See you all on Mad Sports Network next week, boys.
Go and subscribe to them, though, as well. You'll catch me on there on Thursdays. But sorry for the cock-up, folks. That's completely and utterly just one of those things. A bit cross wires. Very close to that podcast, obviously. The guys over there. So, yeah, things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go and follow them over there. Go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to the Guard Pass. Subscribe to us at 4Max1Toffee. We are 4M1T on every other social media. From myself, Danny, Dale, and Chris. Good night, everyone. God bless. Stay safe and enjoy the beer gardens, boys. We are back.